I just want to introduce our initiative to introduce to the world a new pricing method for water and turning water as a new asset class, as in a commodity as it should be. Well, what we're seeing in our region and all over the world, that from the water that we have in this world, 97% is just salt water, and just 3% is a fresh water. And from this fresh water, about 70% is ice and permanent snow, and only 31% groundwater and lakes and river, which means that we are using just 1% of the world water to all our needs. Having that said, what we are seeing that we have to operate in a kind of a scarcity. And what happened is that it reminds me a story of the race to the moon on the 60th of the last century, when the Americans and the Russians tried to find a pen that can write in space. Well, the American put $6 million to find a pen that can write in space. Of course, the Russian didn't have money, so they used a pencil. Why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because it shows us that in a time of a scarcity, we have to find ways how to manage things that we have in a shortage or in a scarcity. When we have a lot of money, of course, we can use a lot of money to produce and to do and to use things. But when we don't have, as we have in water, so we have to be in that things that is in a shortage. We have to manage the water in a much better ways that we are doing it now. And first things that is very important, that it will be a value for the water. When there is no value, when there is no price, you find yourself in a situation that you don't know how to manage this water, because people not preserving water, people use water not for initial needs that they need. There is contamination of water resources, and at the end of the day, the financial arena is not helping in order to promote this industry or this water as they are doing in the oil businesses or other businesses that they are there. Having that said, I'm going to the third slide that show us how we are using the water today. So there is things that we have to continue, and we cannot having any kind of substitute, like smartphones. We need about 12,000 liters of water to produce one smartphone. We need about 80,000 liters to produce a car. So maybe we cannot live without a smartphone and without a car. But in the other side of the slide, you might see that we might manage our life a little easier. Like if we use a cup of coffee costs us 140 liters of water. But if we want to drink tea, it's just 35. So it's 4 times. So by drinking maybe more tea, we can preserve water. Let's go further. If we have a hamburger costs us 2,400 liters of water. But if we want to have the salad, even if more like 300 grams salad, not like it's here 80 liters for 150 grams. So it's 100 times difference if we eat a salad a day instead of one hamburger a day. And it's go on with beef. If we want to have chicken instead of beef, so it's again 1 to 4. Now about energy, it's even higher. It's 10 to 1. When we use nuclear energy, it takes us 850 liters per household. And if we use it in the solar, or a part of it in the solar, it's just 93 liters. So it's 1 to 10. And of course, at the end, what we are our clothes, like the cotton. Cotton needs lots of water. For one T-shirt that sell in China with 20 cents, we are expending 4,100 liters of water. By this amount of water, we can feed a family for a week with 3 kilograms of rice. So, what is the manage is here? Why we are still using these T-shirts? Why we are eating beef as we want? Why we are still using water not in an efficient way? And the answer is that because it doesn't have a price. AQUA-INDEX come out with an idea that actually find out the real price of water by the value of its usage. If we use the water to produce soybeans, so it have another value when it used to produce rice or to produce other orange juice or to produce sugar or coffee or other things. So that gives us some kind of a background where it's better for us to move our production in order to get the best value of the water that we have in scarcity, and maybe change the way that we are using water. As I said, maybe we can use less cotton, and in that water that we preserve, we can produce more food to the world. So those questions come out that we designed the way that, because we know how much water it's needed to produce a commodity or any kind of productions or item, how much water it's within it, and what is the price on a daily basis that we see on the exchanges. So we find out that we have an algorithm that can find the value of the water, the way we use it. And this is a big thing, because at that point, if we can take a basket of commodities or productions that we have in a certain place in the world, it can be a worldwide, it can be a country, it can be a region, we can find out what is the value of the water in this region, because we know what is the uses in this region for this water. Having a benchmark for water, a real one, not the one that made by not economic basis, but something that have economic basis, because we know how much we pay for rice and for sugar and for coffee and for wheat and for soybeans. And we know how much water we need in the process to produce these commodities and this food. And we know how much water is within it. We find an algorithm that said, hey, when you use this water to produce soybeans or rice or coffee or sugar, the value of the water have a number. And by knowing this number, we can make a better management for uses of water. We can preserve more water. We can have more money in order to explore for new resources of water. And at the end of all, with this 97% of water that it's salted, we can desalinate water. So why today we desalinate just 1% in the whole of the world? We have lots of water. Why we don't desalinate more than 1%? It's because water have no price. It's because banks and entities will not give any loans to make a plant of desalinated water that worth about and cost $500 million or maybe more, because they don't know what is the price of the product. I will share a story with you that I have a couple of years ago. Here in Israel, there was a delegation from Africa that came. And I was invited to present what we are going to do, because they have a lot of problems there. And the head of infrastructure, I think it was for Ghana, and he told me, we have 1 million children die every year because of scarcity or contamination of water. And I said, is that true? And I'm going and I find out with UNICEF in the United Nations that today we have 6,000 children die every day because scarcity of water and because of shortage of water, which means this is 2 million in the world. And that thing is something that we are, as a community, as a society, cannot agree with. When I spoke with an economist and tried to explain what we are going to come and that we want to put a price of water on water, the question was, what will happen if you will put a price? Maybe the price of water will be more than we pay today. And my answer was, first of all, when we will have pricing of water, people will learn to use it in an efficient way. They will less contaminated water. They will preserve water. And on the other hand, the next question was, what will happen if, let's say, the Coca-Colas or the Pepsis will be against it because maybe it will raise the money that they're paying for the water, which is not true, but I have a very good answer for that. I told this guy, this economist that come out with this question, which is legitimate questions. And I told him, if you take into consideration that you can save not 2 million children every year, just 1 million children a year, every year, every generation, you have 80 years of consumer for your Coca-Cola or for your Pepsi, which means that even if one person uses 2 bottles of drink in a week, so it's about 8,000 bottles in an 8 years time, which means that if you take it by 1 million every generation, I told him it's 8 billion bottles a year, more for every generation that comes in every year. This is a huge number. And do you think that there is any manufacturer that will not be able even to think that even if it's cost him another half a cent or a cent to have such a huge, more customers, and in the same way save life, save people that can be productive and producers in the world. They can have their own food. They can live. They take it like this in this world that we all have this basic right to live. And as we said, if you have a basic right for water, so you have to manage it right in order to give the people the way to enjoy it. Because if we have this gift of water, this gift should be for everyone. But it cannot be for everyone if we don't manage it well.